Hello and welcome to the second edition of Grand Prix Bitesize with Downforce UK and your host, me, Sam Hall. On Tuesday the 7th of August, Lawrence Stroll headed a consortium of wealthy businessmen in a buyout of the Force India Formula 1 team. Here to talk about the purchase and what it means for the future of Force India and their drivers is a man making his Downforce UK debut. You may know him from his YouTube channel as Mr. Danger Days F1 and his work with the checkered flag. Welcome, Aaron Gillard.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm looking forward to talking about this topic and got to talk to Sam about this news relating to Force India.
Well, let's get straight into it. The deal itself. All 405 jobs at the Force India team and their Silverstone base have been confirmed that they will be safe. And he's put in a lot of money. They've come straight out of administration. Just give us your first thoughts on this deal and what it means for the team as a whole, Aaron.
Yeah, I think it's a good news that we have a well-liked team like Force India with a lot of history from previous years with Jordan, Spiker, Midland, so on and so forth, being saved from administration. Of course, there was slight concerns regarding of the ownership relating to BJ and all that about whether the team's future was destined or not. Well, of course, now it's been saved by multiple business partners, leading by Lance Stroll, Lance Stroll's dad, from racing with Williams and that. I think it's obviously great news because the employees now at Force India have their jobs secured. They're going to get all their creditors are going to get paid in that, and this can only lead to the right direction for Force India with its future. Now, I understand that now going into the Belgian Grand Prix, all the upgrades that are planned are going to be pushed forward and be introduced in the coming race and that. So, good deal on that, and hopefully for the future of this team, the right way forward.
So obviously we all think it's a brilliant news that Force India are saved. That's the headline going around. Force India are saved. But some of the biggest teams in the championship, arguably, McLaren, Williams and Renault, although not the most successful teams recently, they are a bit concerned that maybe Force India are now going to become a Mercedes B team. Are you concerned that this could happen, or is this something that already exists? Obviously, we've got the Sauber and Haas relationship. Is it too close with Ferrari? And then the most obvious of all, Toro Rosso to Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean, this is no strange thing in Formula One, and that teams will partner up with one another, create a B team, and like I say, that a works team use a customer team as sort of like a feeder team for the younger drivers, explore more technical partnerships and that. I mean, Toro Rosso and Red Bull will be doing this for 12 years now, and we saw a perfect example of recently with Honda starting out with Toro Rosso, and now next year will come into Red Bull in next year's program. I don't think it's too concerned that Mercedes, I mean, they're no strangers to having a B team and that. I remember back in the days of Manor when they had the Mercedes engine, and they also had Pascal Wehrlein and the technology from other Mercedes powered teams and that. So, I mean, a Mercedes B team with Force India, it would have surprised me at that. But of course, I can understand why some teams are concerned in a way. But I mean, this sort of partnerships in Formula One is no stranger in that. I mean, this sort of deals will be around a long time and that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Force India does become like a B team and that, to sort of like feed the Mercedes drivers and like so Ocon, Wehrlein, Russell and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, some teams are going to be slightly concerned about that because some of them will be like, this will be a disadvantage to us. But I mean, this has been going on for like years, even not decades, this sort of stuff.
Is it a bad thing for the sport, or like we say, so you get drivers who have been put in these teams who got Valtteri Bottas was at Williams through the Toto Wolff and Susie Wolff connection. And you've had various drivers come through. Is it a bad thing, or is it just something that we have to accept as fans of the sport?
It's been around for a long, long time, and some of the big names have been like through feeder teams, sort of like that. Sebastian Vettel was even a part of Red Bull's junior program, started out life with Toro Rosso, and then eventually came to Red Bull, and next thing you know, he's won 4 world championships. I mean, this sort of things are are no stranger in the sport and that. And I can't imagine this sort of stuff will fade away. And yes, it may not look good for the sport and that to see you have like realistically have like 5 main teams and then sort of have like baby teams and so on and so forth. But I mean, this sort of stuff has happened for a long, long time. So I can't see it going away. I can't see it. I mean, it can look like a bad thing and that, but at the end of the day, they're then sort of teams are sort of giving growth to the future stars of Formula One, and then eventually going to win Grand Prix championships a lot.
Moving on swiftly to the driver lineups. Again, I've had my thoughts on this. I think, firstly, if they keep hold of Sergio Perez, I think that Lance Stroll will be partnering him. I can't see anyone else partnering him there. Lawrence Stroll buying it. Lance Stroll not happy at Williams. 2 and 2 together. Don't think there's any danger of me making 5 from that. Equally, if Esteban Ocon stays, Lance Stroll will be his partner, but the driver who goes in each of those scenarios, if Perez stays, Ocon will end up at Haas and Grosjean will end up out of the sport. And if it's Ocon who stays in Force India, then Perez will end up at Williams with his money.
Interesting that. I pretty much 100% is most likely Lance Stroll is going to be in the Force India. And whether it's going to be Force India next year or not, that's remains to be seen. But I'm pretty certain that Lance Stroll will be leaving Williams at the end of the year. And regarding his teammate, though, it's a difficult one to pick. Of course, Esteban Ocon was expected to go to Renault for 2019 until Daniel Ricciardo just came out of nowhere and said, right, that's my seat. And it sort of leaves Ocon in a pickle, a really unexpected pickle in a way. Sort of like what happened to Carlos Sainz originally, but now it looks like he could be going elsewhere now. Anyway, with relating to Perez and Ocon, it's a hard one in a way. I mean, Ocon to Haas, I'm sure Mercedes say they won't get in the way of Ocon if he wants to go to another team in that, but to go to like a rival engine partner like Ferrari, it might worry them a little bit in a way, but I can't see that happening. Maybe Ocon probably will stay at Force India for another year. Probably, I'm not 100% sure on that. If Perez does go, I reckon he'll probably be the one to go to Haas instead of going to Williams and that. I don't know, there's something about it. I think Perez, it's sort of a sideways move in a way. Haas will have a really, really strong lineup with Magnussen and Perez. There'll be 2 consistent drivers. That's a good, strong lineup to have compared to the likes of Magnussen and Grosjean, because this season Magnussen's leading all the way. Grosjean, yeah, okay, he's had the occasional race in that, but most of the season he's been on the back foot massively in that. And I think Grosjean, as much as I hate to say it, he'll probably be out the sport by next year and that. But realistically, I reckon Perez, or even possibly maybe Van Dorn to throw it in the mix, they will probably be at the Haas. At the Force India, I probably would go with Ocon and Stroll for 2019.
Who will partner, assuming Sergei Sirotkin stays at Williams, because Williams will need that money. This is why I went for Sergio Perez to go to Williams. I can't see him wanting to go there at the moment, but I can see it being potentially his only other option away from Haas. Who will partner Sirotkin at Williams, or will it be all change at Williams again?
I reckon Sirotkin, I believe Sirotkin's on a multi-year contract anyway, so I think he'll be staying there for another year. I think for a second year probably. From what I understand, Mercedes are looking to advance their sort of technical partnership with Williams, which involves their engine partners in a way. It probably might extend to a driver lineup, which means probably if George Russell wins F2 this year, then it'll most likely he'll be in the Williams alongside Sirotkin, and then we'll see what happens. We'll go from there. Kubica, I can't see that happening. I can't see that him coming back in the sport, sadly. It'll be a good story to have a driver come back from his injuries and that, but I can't see that happening. I can't see Williams seeking Kubica, when they've got a talent like George Russell waiting in the wings and that, if he does win F2. I just can't see that happening.
So, to bring this all to a nice conclusion, Force India have been saved from the brink. Lance Stroll looks all but certain to be switching to the Silverstone-based team in whatever guise it takes for the 2019 season. But what happens to Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon is anyone's guess. My thanks to Aaron for joining us. You can find him on Twitter at Aaron Gillard _17 or on YouTube at Mr. Danger Days F1. I've been your host, and you can follow me on Twitter at Sam Hall Sport. Let us know what your thoughts are on the takeover and what you think could be the 2019 driver lineup for Force India. Until next time, thanks for listening.